What's happening, boys? We all good?
Very well, man. Very well.
Yeah, all good.
Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas. Hope Santa was good to you. Hope you all had good New Year's.
Quiet.
What about you? Quiet? Aye, same. Had a party for my 9-year-old and our pals. It was absolutely horrendous.
Was Santa good to you? Do you get a nice present or presents?
Santa's as good as you can be when you're 40. Isn't it? It's no just try to make it exciting for the kids. Santa's dead to me.
No.
Unless he delivers the title in May, then I'll get back believing in the big man.
Well, this is it. It was the only thing I put on my Christmas list this year, and I never really got much else. So I'm thinking he's going to deliver. Be fine.
I wish that someone would take Tam off her hands, and Wendy's finally made an honest man out of him. So I'm 1 for 2. So that's decent.
I didn't know if we were allowed to share that or not, but
he's a wee gimp. He had smoke bombs and all that sort of shite on social media, wasn't he?
Right. Wendy's finally got her haul. Proposed.
He's finally got someone's made an honest woman out of him. So we'll keep you posted for the This Is My Story hen do when we go for Tam. We take Tam and his hen do, so we'll let you know what we're up to. You can come along and help us make organic hummus and whatever else we do, synchronise our periods and all that. There'll be something like. Anyway, congratulations, Thomas and Wendy.
Absolutely,
that was some nice news.
Joking aside, it's nice to see love's young dream blossoming, or I don't know what you're supposed to say in these scenarios, but well done.
Surely Wendy's just settled. Surely she's just thought, fuck it, might as well.
100%. She's tied into a mortgage with a cunt anyway.
And what's been happening? You're good?
No bad, man. Just a busy festive period and having to sit through corporate hospitality today at an English Premier League game, which, by the way, I could thoroughly not recommend. It was terrible. But apart from that, all good. Looking to get back to work tomorrow, which will be a good laugh and all. But
blow the January blues away. Kev, what's been happening?
A couple of weeks down in Forteventura, watching Hearts games and Rangers pubs, which was thoroughly enjoyable. I don't think they thought the same thing after our result at Tynecastle a few weeks ago. But
did you have to watch it with them?
No, I was out in the little terrace area that they had. They were all in.
Shite bag.
It was fine. It was fine. Disappeared after about 82 minutes, though, I must admit. So half of them didn't even see the main goal.
A pub filled with Rabs and Shirley's. So it is.
Aye.
Skin like
exactly
tanned leather.
Aye.
Reeking of Lambert and butter. 4 teeth between them.
I'm not gonna lie.
In that.
Were you there?
Yeah.
But other than that, not a great deal. I was back to work last week, so I've already had that misery, but all good.
Wee Sandra with the bronze tits that looked like a wee pool ball and a yellow sock.
and everybody going about in these scooters. Folk even the age of like 33 going about in a scooter just because it's the hip and trendy thing to do, like it is in Benidorm.
Nips like Moldies. Remember you used to get them? They were massive. They look like digestive biscuits, man. That is what Sandra's tits like. You loved it, Kev. You sending them into the group chat all the time. You're sucking on them.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah, dirty wee man. Oh well, there we go. I didn't think we'd talk about this at the beginning, but there we go.
Something went in the wrong hole there.
We're only 5 minutes.
That's what Shirley said to Kev. Right. Well, obviously, welcome back. We're obviously live on YouTube, so any comments, any questions, fire them in. We'll talk about Heart of Midlothian 1, Livingston 0 yesterday. Look back if we feel need to on the derby, or we can look forward to Sunday as we head to Dundee. Keep the momentum going, discuss all of yesterday's results that's seen us extend our lead at the top of the Premier League to 6 points. Young Aberdeen have sacked their manager as well. Young Jimmy's been binned. That's another head on Derek McInnes's mantelpiece that he can look over. So we've got 3 scalps this season. 3? We're calling it 3? We'll call it 3. We'll call it 3 just now. We are now into the transfer window. We've got some transfer chat, and then we'll just talk everything, all else, Heart of Midlothian. Sound good, boys?
Sure does.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, Kev, any news that we've yet to cover or anything you want to discuss?
So not exactly aware of where you finished off after your chat with yourself and Thomas after the Rangers game, I think it was. Me too. But I think the biggest talking point is, as you've already mentioned, about the January transfer window with the Dutch boy coming in. And he slotted into that team yesterday. Like he's been there all season. Actually, I thought he was decent. Got up and down that wing, just as probably what we want. But it did show a couple of elements in regards to what we're still missing from a squad point of view. But we can talk about that as well as we go into this particular discussion. But that is probably the biggest one. I know what Cheshnikov was supposed to arrive on Friday, but due to weather conditions in Holland or in Amsterdam, his flight was delayed, which meant he didn't actually arrive until after the game on Saturday night. But I understand that he is now here in Edinburgh. The work permit will go through its process tomorrow morning. I think they're looking ideally to have him able to start training with the first team by middle to the end of the week, according to what McInnes was sort of commenting on yesterday during his after-match press conference.
Yeah, he's in the building. There's people have confirmed seeing him. It was reeking of David Vanacek, wasn't it?
It was reeking of David Vanacek. It was also, there's a lot of people commenting the fact that the pre-contract was written on the back of a beer mat in pencil, and it wasn't legally binding, etc., etc. But by all accounts, it seems to be just rumour on that one. But yeah, he's in the building, and from that point of view, I think we'll all agree that we're looking forward to hopefully seeing him by maybe the end of this month.
Aye. Well, I won't lie. I was being nervous because this has been a long 4 weeks. I believe the club had hoped and expected him to potentially be here the second week in December. They'd given him a plan for what to work on, and then obviously it's now the 4th of January the day, and he only arrived yesterday. So hopefully that's just how these things work. Hopefully he's been working the programme that he's been given. I believe they've got to Glasgow tomorrow to work through the visa application, and then we should hopefully be able to get a quick turnaround so that they can get boots on training for Tuesday, which would be quite good. Another I think that side of the pitch, and you seen yesterday with the fact that what was the guy called? Was it Altena?
Altena, yeah.
Oh.
Well, Altena, I don't know.
Altena yesterday. Yeah, wee Tam's favourite player. His debut yesterday highlighted just, that wee bit of boost. Not that the squad needed it, but competition for places, having new faces in that improve the squad. I think it G's everybody up a little bit, and it was only 60, 70 minutes that we got out of him yesterday. Very good first impressions of the new boy. Very lively, taking on, not scared to take his man on. Very good ball, and he should have had at least 2 assists yesterday if we could be bothered to actually put the ball in the back of the net. A very accomplished debut, and again, if we can get Chesnikov in to play on that right hand side, it kind of balances the team out. We've managed so far and it's a credit to the players that have stepped in, and a credit to the team that we have managed to get this far into the season without really having a right-hand side or an established, settled right-hand side. So to be able to get that, I'm looking forward to seeing the relationship between Altena and Chesnikov on the right-hand side. If it can be anywhere near as fruitful as Kessie and Milne, then, that's only positive for us. Any other transfer rumours that we've been hearing? We've got our first out, don't we? Did Harry Stone go to Airdrie?
Harry Stone's going out to Airdrie. I guess the element is that, or the expectation, should I say, is that a number of other players will also head out. There has already been a couple of rumours flying about, players who simply haven't been in that match day squad. Guys like Khartoum, for example. I did hear a potential that Forrest would be potential going off to Falkirk. Don't know whether that's just a general sort of rumour or if there's any particular stature behind that. Of course, they've got an opening. They've got space available in their squad at this moment in time, I believe.
They certainly do.
Yeah, that's a potential. There's a number of other rumours flying about. New striker, which I believe is currently playing at the AFCON alongside, not for Burkina Faso, but alongside Kabori. I believe this guy is from somewhere else, Sudan, maybe Zimbabwe, something like that. Not entirely sure, but I'm not going to personally read into any particular rumours until I see a particular individual with a scarf above his head, shirt with his name on it, whatever it may be. Because there's too many rumours flying about at this moment.
So I suppose we can go around and talk. Where do you see, if you were in charge right now, where do you see the pressing need for players to come in?
What I want is, and again, it's easy if you had the shopping list and you could just like put it on Santa's list or whatever, but I just want a really diverse central midfielder, if I'm being honest, right? If we've got the right hand side of the park covered, I think left hand side, okay, fine. You're talking about another striker, keeper's fine, happy enough with the defence. If I just want something extra in midfield, if I'm being honest.
Aye, goals potentially. Goals from the midfield. Magnussen's missed a couple of chances in the last couple of games. 2 absolute sitters yesterday. Benny and Devlin getting in the action. Devlin scoring in the derby. Benny almost scoring in the derby. Devlin shooting yesterday as well. Again, it's something that I'd said, Sports Sound, that I would quite like us to look at goals. What about yourself, Kev?
Yeah, I think there's the probably one area. You could also look at potentially centre half. We lost Halkett to what was effectively just a twinge, but Kent came in and Kent did all right until the 88th minute, 89th minute, whatever it was. Then his failing in regards to being able to header a ball was clearly shown a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, potentially there's an opportunity for a centre half, but a centre midfielder who can not only score goals but also can see that particular pass that is maybe missing from Benny and from Devlin's potential, their eye themselves. There was a couple of times yesterday that the right ball was actually in between the centre half and the right back or the left back. But on each occasion, it was more just played into them, and there was a couple of times that Altena had to actually come back to actually collect the ball, which I think is always a frustrating one from my point of view, because I would always prefer to see the ball go in front of them to run on it. I know that we've got Aju, and I know he's back now training, working on his fitness. But I don't think he's going to be anywhere near the first team until potentially the end of this month, and that could be too late. We want to have somebody in play, ideally as quickly as possible, especially given some of the games that we've got coming up that should be winnable games, let's be honest. If we have any aspirations to do something this particular season, these are the games we've got to win.
I think the only thing, and yesterday kind of highlighted it a little bit for me as well, was that I wouldn't be opposed to us bringing in a couple of not going to say not Jamestown guys, but we need some experience. You know, we've got experience in the squad, but no one that's ever won anything.
Yeah.
You know, someone that can come in, settle the nerves down. I seen Shanklin try to do it a few times yesterday, going around the players when Livingston had throw-ins or corners, just trying to G everybody up. But just a couple of experienced heads that can take the burden, that have been there, that have got a bit of life experience to share in terms of getting things over the line. Because again, I think that there was points yesterday there was a bit naivety to us in that second half where we were a bit panicked. You know, the crowd had tried to get behind them, singing songs and stuff and try to G them up, and I think Schwallow just launched it straight out of the park when we were sort of trying to build a bit of momentum, and again just to have in and around the building as well. I think you could see that in the derby especially as well, you know, when we're still quite emotional as a team, where we try to right wrongs and sometimes you just need to take a step back, let the situation settle, take a breather and then pick yourself back up and go. And I thought that, so maybe I don't know what that looks like in terms of players. I think that centre-backs, we've probably got enough with Steinwinder playing and being pushed out to the right, Jamie McCart there, plus Frankie Kent, plus Halkett, plus Finlay. I think we're probably okay there. But again, if Jamestown can keep producing players, then I'm not against getting guys in. And I think the other thing that Hearts fans need to get used to is the fact that the whole Jamestown model will work on the fact that you do have to rely on big squads, because the whole idea is that you come out, get 12 to 18 months out of a Braga, Kizzy, Milne, Altena, whoever it is, and then sell them and get Steinwinder, Khartoum, Magnuson, or the next batch of guys just ready to come in, slot in and get ready to do it. So I don't see there being huge outgoings, maybe just some of the players that the club maybe feel don't have anything to offer long term, like a Spittle or Alan Forrest, potentially Khartoum, because he hasn't been making any of the squads, maybe.
It's an interesting part you mentioned there about the way in which the club is now structured. Something my uncle had mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago. New listener to the podcast, he keeps telling me. But he was asking about, from our point of view, we've got this sort of feel-good factor. We've got this, this ability to really show what we've got in depth and what we've got across the actual, across the squad. We've not had this since potentially the Burley era, right? Which was an era of 7-8 games. But both to you and to Corbett, do you feel that because we have that sort of feel-good factor, does that put us as an actual team in a better position than, say, the two teams the other side of the M8, who are currently going through a number of different, factors? Their fan behaviour, for example, Rangers hounding out Martin and getting, he had to get escorted away from Falkirk Stadium a couple of months back. You then see what's going on in the last 2-3 weeks with regards to Nancy at Celtic. Does that, to your account, does that make it feel a better place to come and play in Scottish football than say, going to Celtic or Rangers?
Part of me says aye, part of me says no. Part of me says aye, it is a more attractive place to be, to go and ply your trade as a stable club on the up and up. However, let's not be arseholes here. Rangers and Celtic are massive clubs with tremendous buying power, and this is just a small bump in the road for them, right? This is why we need to strike now. But given this time next season, I'm fully convinced that Rangers and Celtic will be back on course and doing what they always do, which is just muscling their way and buying their way to success or whatever. So yes, Hearts are in a good position in terms of being an attractive alternative, but that's only here and now in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that gives effectively a bit of a foundation in what you can actually build in a very short period of time.
See, my thing is that I've had that mindset for a while now, Ando, about the strike with the irons hot, Celtic and Rangers will only get better. I'm not convinced now. I genuinely, that if Celtic, as they look to be going to, continue to back Wilfred Nancy, they need a whole squad.
Aye.
They need a new goalkeeper. They need 3 centre halves that can play in that position. They need proper wing backs. They need a striker. And there's no guarantee that that'll work, given that they've spent big money on Engels, on Nygren, Trusty, and had very little back in terms of value for money. Rangers, it's weird, but Rangers, I feel they're in a false position because they've kind of slowly crept up from where they are, but they don't look convincing in any way, shape or form. I think yesterday, just about like our game, at half-time, if Rangers had went in 3-4-0 down, nobody would have batted an eyelid because Celtic battered them in the first 45 minutes. They were an absolute disgrace. They were all over the place, Rangers. And then flip to Celtic in the second. It could have been 5-1 to Rangers if they really wanted to, because Celtic were a shambles at the end. And it goes back to what we all talked about when it came to Tony Bloom, and what Tony Bloom said was he clearly looked at the value of the squads, looked at the impact of how Celtic and Rangers were performing in Europe, and he spotted immediately that they were on decline, and I think that that's where we find ourselves now, is that they aren't the team that we all think they are, because I think that's what that thing is. Like, if it's a fear thing, if it's an inbuilt thing, because we are so ingrained that Celtic and Rangers win everything, because it's been 40 years since anybody did anything to counter that. So we do expect Celtic to just click into gear and win every game from now to the end of the season, or Rangers to do the exact same. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see with the mid music at Celtic. They have a lot of things to sort, not just on the football pitch. And Rangers seem to, even if, for example, if Rangers do win the league this year, half their decent players are on loan, so they're going to go back to their parent clubs, and they're going to have to rebuild a squad again. They've got no value in that team. Even for Chermitri, for example, scoring a couple of goals, they spent £10 million on him. To make that money back, someone has to pay £10 million to buy him. Nobody's going to pay £10 million for that guy. So I'm slowly turning round to... Oh, sorry, on you go.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It's a fair point. It's like I've just shown the old dinosaur mentality that you're talking about, which is Rangers and Celtic, we just expect them to be there, but there's nothing to say that they will be. It's just my personal belief is that I think eventually they will get back on the rails and carry
it's
on.
Like
I would
almost like a safety blanket thing.
I would love it if Celtic faded away into insignificance for a couple of seasons, while they go and rebuild or whatever. Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
But I don't think that that's what will happen either. I just think that it's us, and it touches on a point that I wanted to talk about before we talk about the actual football, was about, it's like we're exposed just now because we're no used to this. We're out there in a space that we've never been before. So our comfort blanket is almost to be like, it's great, it's nice when it lasts, but we know that Celtic and Rangers are just going to click into gear, and we don't ever have to really face into the fact or into the reality or the heartache that we could take this to the last 4 games, the last 5 games. We could have it won before Easter. Like because it's so alien to us and new to us that we're almost kind of like looking over our shoulder to be like, are you going to catch us? Like, come on, like, hurry up. Like, we're so not used to being in that position. And Kev, we spoke about this already about yesterday. I quit my job in 2006 when Roman Bednar scored at Tynecastle. Told my boss, I can't work in retail and miss Saturdays because Hearts are going to win the league. I quit. I'm gone. I'm travelling the country. I'm not going to miss Hearts win the league. And that, I remember being buzzing to go to Tynecastle, to go away every week watching that Hearts side, because I believed, like everybody, that was our tagline. That was the Romanov thing, believe. that we were going to win the league. When my head hit the pillow after losing the derby, when I woke up the next day, my first thought was, I'm buzzing to get to Tynecastle to watch Hearts, because I knew Celtic weren't going to win their game in hand, and I knew that one of the Old Firm were going to slit their throats. One of them was going to drop points, or both were going to drop points, and we've got the worst team in the league at home. I was buzzing to get to Tynecastle on Saturday, because I was like, we've got an unbelievable chance. And that you get to Tynecastle, you think it was just a bog standard game. I don't know if it's because people they don't believe that we're actually going to win the league. They don't want to believe that we're in a title race. It was like, but we're in January. I said, we laughed, we sang, we're the champions of August, champions of September, the champions of October, the champions of November, the champions of December. We're now in the new year. There's 18 games left. There's 8 to 10 home games left if we're lucky. To see this team do something that we've all dreamt for decades. And you would have walked away from that game on Saturday thinking that it was a bottom six clash, that it was dross and it was rubbish. Where's the excitement? Where is the excitement? Where's the excitement for the club?
There's the additional question there, isn't it? At what point does that standard 15,000, 16,000 that go to every home game, at what point of the season do they actually sit up and become aware of, actually, we're in a flipping great position here? Where does that happen for and it'll probably be different for different age groups, right? Myself and like a number of others will also be mindful of what happened in the past, right? And that's something I know perfectly well myself. I need to get over that. But there's also that younger element that never experienced that. What point of the next 5, 6, 7 weeks do they actually go, holy shit, we can do this, and we need to take that next step? We as fans need to step up and actually get behind the team. And then that works two ways. And we've spoken about that many, many times before. Because yesterday was terrible from an atmospheric point of view.
Even just, like, everybody, you ask anybody, what do you remember about the 2006 season, Vladimir Romanov, blah, blah. They're going to tell you the players winning the Scottish Cup, and someone will rhyme off and remember Firework Phil. They'll all remember what Tynecastle was like for the Hibs game, for the Celtic game, for the Rangers game, the fireworks, the pomp and ceremony before the game, because we believed that we were going to win the league. We puffed our chest out and we're like, we're here. We're going to win the league. We've got better players than Celtic and Rangers. And go to the game on Saturday, and I watch Aberdeen, bottom six, dross. They've got safe pyro, fireworks, tifos, big flags, every single game. The derby at Easter Road on Saturday, before the game, it was class. The Hibs had paid for a tifo, paid for the ultras to do a tifo. They had fireworks, they had a light show, all that sort of stuff. We have welcome Heart of Midlothian. Like, we're literally halfway through the season and are sitting top of the league, 6 points clear. Means that we have to lose essentially 3 games for Celtic or Rangers to catch us, given our goal difference or where we're at, like, to overtake us. But that puts it down to 15 games left in a season. Then you're saying that you win one, they win one, we lose one, they might lose one. Like, we are in an unbelievable position, and we need to do something for people to understand that Tony Bloom didn't say, right, if we win the league this season, that's it. This is the only opportunity we're going to get to win the league. It's not what he said. He said that he's here to disrupt Scottish football, and he will be surprised if we do not win a couple of titles in the next 10 years. He said he would be very shocked if we didn't finish second this season. We're not going away. We're not going to go away. So Hearts fans have to get on board. Hearts fans have to get out from behind the sofa. Forget about 86. I remember it. I know what it was like. I know how devastating it was for everybody who was there. We've lived through heartache. We can't be scared to face into the fact that we could win a title. We have to get bullish. We have to make Tynecastle intimidating. We have to understand that we've got 8 cup finals left at Tynecastle. That could be the difference. That could be the difference. Saturday second half. That could have been the difference. That hanging on against Livingston and picking up those 3 points, that might deliver us the title in May. We've got to, the club, got to do more to be like, actually, because right now, Kev, I feel like fans and the club are doing exactly what I said, just looking over our shoulder saying,
yeah,
come on, hurry up and catch us because we don't know what to do.
Because it's too difficult.
Yeah, and that's you've nailed it there, Ando. It's too difficult. It's not, right? This is the whole thing with Tony Bloom's comments back at the beginning of the season. He's here to disrupt. He's already identified, and Corbett's just mentioned it in the last few minutes. He's already identified that between the two of them, they're effectively falling in on themselves. So from that point of view, you're exactly right. I just think there's an element that we now need to up our game. We now need to get to a point where actually, as fans in the inside, Tynecastle, wherever we may travel with the club, we now need to step up because yesterday's atmosphere was absolutely horrific, and it felt to me, and I'm sorry to say this, Corbett, I actually had a bit of I do like watching your antics because you are directly opposite me. And there was one bit yesterday where I think it was a free kick. Livy had a free kick. You couldn't look at it. You're watching your feet, and your old man was just patting you in the back like you were actually throwing up, which did make me laugh, right? But it is exactly that. And I think what happened yesterday, especially that last 10 minutes, I felt that was very similar, and people had it in the back of their head as, holy shit, this is what happened against Kilmarnock. And it could have happened, right? That corner in the last that last touch of the ball was effectively, it could have went anywhere else, but thankfully it went straight into Swallow's arms, and from that point of view, everything was great. But again, go back to what you've already said. That 3 points yesterday could be the difference between, winning and losing the league in May.
Yep. Right, and that's
same as St Mirren in 10 days' time. That could also be. So you need to get that. We need to do something, whether we do that collectively with the ultras or whatever. Everybody needs to pull together in the same direction.
I don't even think it's like it's not an ultra thing. It's
no, it's not.
It's an everything thing. Like what it could have been. We weren't booing and whistling and hanging for the full time whistle like we would do if it was like the last minute of a derby and we were hanging on to win a 1-0, and then the euphoria, the eruption, and it's like it was a bog standard. Yay! Like 3 points against Livy puts us 6 clear at the top of the league. Like that happens every game. And again, it's that stuff. It's winning the league. Isn't difficult in the sense of what we were talking about. It's scary, and I think that's what we're all needing to adapt to. What we're doing is that it's terrifying. Like we've never been in that. We've been in situations like this before, but we all kind of deep down knew we're not going to win the league. So it'd be a flash in the pan, or Jim Jeffries went 11 unbeaten and we beat Celtic at Tynecastle and it puts us close. But we're never really going to get to that next. We've been to Ibrox and won. We've been to Celtic Park and won. We've had Rangers at home and beat them. Celtic at home, beat them. This is going to happen. It's going to happen whether it's this year, next year, the year after. It's going to happen, and we need to get behind the team. We need to get on board with it. And again, just realise that I was the same. Everybody was the same. This is going to end up like Kilmarnock, right? But instead of realising, well, what was the same at Kilmarnock is what's happening right now. So at Kilmarnock, we all got nervous and anxious and sat silent and moaned and got upset with stray passes or whatever. Why don't we try getting behind the team, singing, chanting, standing, encouraging them to go forward? Because we've been here, did the anxious stuff, and we conceded and got a draw when we should have won. Now, why don't we try something different and see if we can get them over the line to go up and score a second or to get the 3 points or whatever? Because right now, we're at the business end of the season where if you're still going to Tynecastle week in, week out looking to see a performance, you're in the wrong game. It's results now. It's results. That is the be all and end all now. I will take 18 1-0s, us hanging on for dear life like that Livy game from now to the end of the season. I don't care. I don't care about the performance. I care about results, because results matter. And I just think that, like I'd said, I've messaged before. I emailed, you know what I'm like. I'm a grumpy old man, curtain twitching. I've already emailed the club to say someone's just put the comment
never.
up.
Not having that.
Again, someone just put that comment up that you said earlier about the stadium announcer. It's not a pop at the guy personally, but yes, I agree. So pre-game, this is what I mean, like about Tynecastle and Hearts, and what makes us Hearts is Hibs all summer long were singing that's the way I like it when they were on the European trips. We were on the own European trips. So every one of us are sitting watching that, jealous that we're not in Europe. Normally us that gets to lord over them. It's normally us that gets to rub their nose in it. Oh, what a night. All that type of stuff. It's normally us that are getting to kick a cream in the teeth. We were getting kicked in the teeth. We all hate it. We then score in the last minute of the derby and win. Craig Halkett scores. And it's ironic to sing, that's the way I like it. Or we're top of the league. That's the way we like it. That was a moment. It was funny. But that was it. We then lost the derby last week. Hibs, Easter Road are all singing, that's the way I like it. And our stadium announcer plays, that's the way I like it, before the game. Now, that's either idiotic or naive. It's one or the other, but it's definitely no Hearts. So again, it's like, think about what you're in. What you're in. How's that geeing up the team? The montage, the goal montages. Guess the year. The year, there was a year that we never finished where we wanted to in the league or achieved anything. And the goals that we were watching and goal montages were goals that we scored in the Championship, or goals that we never won football matches with. It's no hard to get it right. It's just wee stupid touches like that suck the life out of it. The music choices are awful, constant. The goal celebrations, the music is way too loud. Blitz, he's too worried about trying to get the right tune that matches a chant or whatever. Watch the Celtic goal yesterday when Yang scores. It's silence in the stadium for a good few seconds, and then the go Celtic, like it's a proper buzzing thing. We get Mr. Lawrence Shankland, Mr. Craig Halkett. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you announcing that as Mr. Lawrence Shankland? He's a fuck, mate. Like, it just sucks the life out of it. And even pre-game and all that stuff, I've said before, I messaged the club 2 seasons ago to say, tell us the routes in which the players go to the game, and I'll arrange the streets to be filled with folk, and we can do pyro, like what Liverpool did. How many the games last season in the run-up to Liverpool winning the title were Sky Sports in the streets around Anfield watching the team bus go down, and the pyro, the fireworks, all of that stuff as the team arrives at Anfield. That stuff matters. Look at Danny Rowe yesterday. He spoke about that about 1,000 to 2,000 Rangers fans were outside Ibrox and sent the team bus to Celtic Park, like set it off on its way. And we're like, oh no, we'd be too scared about what would happen. Like I said, Hearts fans, 1,000 Hearts fans, every single derby will stand outside Midlothians. I know that the bus goes past Midlothians because I've been there when the bus has went past. So tell us what time you think the bus is roughly going to go down and past Midlothians, and I'll make sure that thousands of Hearts fans are there, setting off pyro, setting Hingway, make the players feel like absolute heroes before they've even kicked the ball and get to the stadium. But again, we're too tin pot to be like, oh, we've got to get safe exit and safe entrance to the thing. Make the players go to Tynecastle on a bus. Get them to meet at the Orium and drive to Tynecastle on a bus. If it's an expense, Hearts fans would pay it. Imagine how many times have we all loved 98, 2006, 2012, the bus gone down Gorgie Road. Imagine that for home games, because we're 8 home games away from winning the league. Imagine the scenes at Tynecastle. Imagine how good the players would feel going into a game. Imagine how devastated opposition players would feel coming into those things, knowing that, look at this end, that it's like a cup final for them. Because it is. We've got 18 cup finals left between now and the end of the season. So we've got to do something. I know it's not just about atmosphere, it's not just about singing in the stadium and all that sort of stuff, but it's about hope, believing. Yeah, build up, believe.
It's a hard habit to break, though, because I think deep down, us included, every single Hearts fan is just a born-again, miserable bastard.
Yep.
We always have been, we always will be. You always look for the negative in every situation, and I get it. I completely agree with what you're saying, but it takes a massive, massive step change for everybody involved to auto in that direction, and it's just, it almost seems unbelievable until somebody unbelievable, unachievable until everybody starts putting the best foot forward for that sort of stuff. But aye, yeah, they have to take it one game at a time and just see if people react.
I can understand like Derek McInnes playing it down and the players playing it down and all that sort of stuff. I completely and utterly understand them trying to stay low key, but the club should be all over this. It should be, Tynecastle should be looking like we've won the treble every single game because it's doable. Aberdeen do it, Hibs do it. Fireworks on the pitch for the teams coming out. You can do safe pyro, the smoke, like you can do safe smoke bombs and all that sort of stuff for the teams coming out. You can invest in some big flags or something that just adds a wee bit of spice to the game. Are you telling me Hibs scored after a minute and 30 seconds at Easter Road? You're telling me that when they walked out at Easter Road, looked to two stands with tifo, looked to the fireworks, heard the noise, heard the atmosphere, that they didn't get a G up, that they weren't miles more up for it than what we were in that opening 10-15 minutes? These things matter. These things matter. Do you know what I mean? The team come out and they look and see those soggy, mouldy, big Hearts flags that get brought out every week. Like, just, I get it. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like having a big brother and you getting to play with stuff. You know that at some point your big brother's going to come in and smack you in the head and say, don't touch my stuff ever again. It feels like we're not savouring the moment because we're too scared that somebody's going to come along and smack us on the face and take away all the nice, fancy stuff that we have. So I don't know how we fix it. I've emailed Hearts to say, let's get a conversation. What can we do? Like, do we phone Aberdeen, talk to Aberdeen, see what they did? Do we talk to Hibs and see how they managed to do it? But there has to be something that we can do. We have to make more of an effort to help the team, because next Wednesday, when we play St Mirren at home, it's going to be the exact same as what it was like at Livy at home. It's going to be the exact same as what it was against Kelly at home. It's going to be 2 minutes of Hearts, glorious Hearts, and it's going to be people sitting on their hands saying, entertain me. And after 15 minutes, if it's 0-0 and we're no flying, it's going to be they're moaning and groaning because the ball's not going forward quick enough, and that doesn't help anybody.
Getting back to the flag thing, that match I was at today, even in the corporate bit, they were saying, right, you're getting emptied out of here 15 minutes before kickoff because there's a big display in the Leazy's end that we want everybody to see, and it was arranged by War Flags.
War Flags.
And to be fair, if you've seen the footage on the TV, it's pretty good. It's good. It makes a difference. So,
Ando, I got the guys for War Flags. I've spoken to them. Me and Brad's were in a group chat with the guys for War Flags for about 2 years. One of them's a Geordie but supports St Mirren. We talked to them at length. I got them to talk to the club about the fact that what they do is they do direct debits. They pay fans chip in to buy flags and buy displays and tifos and all that sort of stuff. And then they have every game, they have people that put all the flags out. They put things all around the stadium saying, don't take the flags home. They stay in the stadium. They collect them all back at the end of the game so they can put them back out again for every single home game. Aberdeen have done the exact same thing because, again, the War Flags chat that we had with the boys, we spoke to the guy for Aberdeen. He was involved with it. He got pally with them and started selling them flags that he does from his business, and we've stood still with our finger up our arse again, like we always do. And that's something. What we then? Right, we could phone Aberdeen. Guy Stephen McCormack, he's sound as anything. He's got his own supporters business. Every single ultras group in the UK uses this guy for all the materials. He does it professionally now. That's his job for Aberdeen. Like, This is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we have here to change the history of Scottish football. Things like that matter. Those little detail things matter. It makes a team feel like actually we deserve to be champions. We deserve to win the title versus we're just waiting on the bigger teams to come and slap us about. We got imposter syndrome. So something has to change. Something's got to change. Right, anyway, there we go. That's a rant that I think we started on by saying that our new right back is pretty decent. We ended up here 45 minutes later. So cool. Did we play this weekend? I can't fucking remember. What was the score?
We did play this weekend. Well, we played for 45 minutes this weekend. That's for sure.
Be interesting. The people that are watching, fire in your comments. What do you think we can do? Do you want me to shut up about it? Because I know that people that long-term listeners to the podcast will know this is something I talk about at length, is the atmosphere at Tynecastle. Do you think there is an issue? What would you do to improve it? What's your thoughts on it? Do you think it matters? Is there any ideas that you have? Because again, I'll gather the ideas and take them to heart. So like I said, I've spoke before about the need for reclassifying the sections, and again, absolutely agree there that our away support, they get it, they understand it, they're fully switched on. They understand that they have a role to play. We've sold out every away end that we've been to this season, and we've sold out Sunday as well. Like, we understand the importance on an away day. It's the at home bit, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I've always felt that it's a hangover from the Romanoff days, from that Burley season, where we had a look into what the future could be, and I've just decided that that's what every game should be like. That it should be blood and thunder, try to win 3-4-0 after 20, 30, 40 minutes, and then hang on for dear life for the end, and completely and utterly forget that we didn't have anywhere near the money that Vladimir Romanov had. We didn't have it at the time anyway, but we had players that have won the Euros, won the Champions League, played for Juventus. We had world-class players. That's why we could play football like that. It's not achievable right this very second, so you're not going to get that. And I don't know what it is. I don't know how we change it, but there's just something about Tynecastle where people just show up and wait to be entertained rather than participate in helping the entertainment value. So there we go.
Two-way streak. It's a two-way streak.
But is it though, Kev? Is it though?
I'm
beating at home this season. We've beaten Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Aberdeen.
No, I do. I know.
And yet, still,
I do think it's still a two-way streak. I think there is a percentage of our home support that expect the players to entertain them for them to then raise their game, rather than it should be 50-50. You know, we have to do our bit, they have to do our bit, rather than this. They've got, it's that mentality within a percentage of the home support. And it's probably that whole part, that percentage of the home support that don't travel to away games, which is why the away games are so good from an atmosphere point of view.
Well, we've got on our Twitter and all that stuff, we should have contact details, so if you do have any ideas, if you want to be part of, if we do end up with, like, when I've approached the club about this stuff before, we've had working groups. So if you want to be a part of it, you've got any interest in helping being a part of it, get in contact with us. I'll keep you updated as to what is said. I sent an absolute Bible to the club today. I'll let you know if there's any reply. I'll let you know if there's any reply to it. Right, let's talk about actual football. So, Saturday, 3rd of January, first game of 2026. Heart of Midlothian 1, Livingston 0. Kev, was there any major surprises pre-game with the 11? Was there anything that jumped off the page at you or that?
I don't think there was anything that was jumping off the page. I think we all wanted Altena to either start the game or be involved. And as I said earlier on, I thought he slotted into that right back position, seamlessly. You would have thought he'd been there for a matter of 3 or 4 months rather than 3 or 4 days. So I think from that point of view, that was that was the only thing that really stood out for me. After watching the highlights from Easter Road, I can understand why Steinwender was, no longer in the starting 11. I was surprised that Magnuson was there. I know there's a lot of people who have got a lot of hope for him, but I don't think where they played him yesterday was the right place for him. I still think, he's more effective as coming on and playing the last 25, 30 minutes when he's got that burst of pace. But again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier on about that midfielder who is a little bit more robust and can score goals, and it's difficult to find, I know that. So I think they were the only two elements from my point of view. Altina starting and Magnuson, maintaining his starting position in the first 11.
It's a hard one because I've started to see a little bit of a narrative around Magnuson of people saying he's no good enough. I strongly disagree.
100%.
I think that he's done very, very well. I think that it's amplified the fact that he missed 2 glaring chances yesterday. He misses quite a clear or semi-decent chance in the derby. And I think that skews people's opinions of how he was. I actually thought the first half, I know we say this every single season, somebody's going to get battered by Hearts. Because Rangers were lucky that it finished 2-1. 2-1 is a ridiculous scoreline in that game. Flattered them massively with the chances that we missed. 1-0 yesterday. It genuinely, if it was 5-0 at half-time, nobody would have said that's no reflective of how the game. It was an absolute battering in the first half. We started a bit shaky. The good thing about Altena coming in is that Rangers, Hibs and now Livingston all had the same tactic to begin with, which is that you can get 2v1 on that side of the pitch because of how high we play our wing backs or attacking players. It leaves Steinwender or whoever it was. So Steinwender was heavily exposed in the derby by himself, 2v1 all the time because Kizzy won't drop back and play in that position there for him. We obviously made the change with McEntee and put McEntee on Diamonde in the Rangers game, which stopped that 2v1 thing, and Livingston looked to try and exploit that. Now, the reason that we negated that immediately was with how high in attacking Altino was. He was happy to go forward, which meant that Livingston had to follow him, which put them into positions on the pitch that they didn't want to be, and they had no out ball. There was nobody, there was no one for them to hit type thing. And once we'd settled into the game, it was literally wave upon wave upon wave upon wave of attack. I think Derek McInnes nailed it after the game when he said that we played like a team deservedly sitting top of the league. You think you've got Magnuson's 2 chances, Kizzy and Braga, the Stramash, you have Milne's header. Yeah, actually, the Braga had a chance that he volleys over the bar when he actually could have taken a touch and been a bit more decisive with it. There was a few crosses into the box that were unbelievable crosses. There was just nobody on the end of it. Even in the second half as well, I think Altina smashed one across the face of the goal. There was no one there. It really could have been a cricket score in the first half. I thought we played very, very well. I thought Benny, Devlin and Magnuson, I think, were great. I agree with the argument around, do we need 3 of those type of players at home at Livingston? That's an argument that, yeah, I think that's a fair argument to have. I think that's where Raju has been brought to the club to give that option of going forward. And I think that Magnuson would be that guy. What we were just talking about, their goals. If he scores in the derby, if he scores any of the chances he had yesterday, he's got 2 and 2. And we're saying we've finally got goals from midfield because hits the post against Kelly as well with a header. He has chances and he gets chances.
Which is actually harder to do.
But he's there, Kev. He's there.
I get that. I get that. And that's I understand that part of it. I understand that he's still also young, right? I know there's that element to it as well. I just feel that we tried to play him out on the right hand side, I thought, yesterday, when I think he's probably better more centrally. But of course, Braga held that particular position yesterday, and I don't think there was times they could have maybe swapped over on a number of more occasions than they actually did. But you're right, Magnuson scores that one yesterday at the back post. You're not talking about it at all. And that could have catapulted on another 2 or 3 goals for not just him, but for others in the team as well.
And I think what people forget as well, especially as the second half, was Livingston are huge, massive. It was like the Harlem Globetrotters. They were ginormous, except Stevie May and Pittman or whatever it is in the middle of the park, and the number 7 that should have been sent off. No, 37 it was that did Benny. He should have been sent off for that. That was a red card. But they were all absolutely ginormous, and Hearts did very, very well to keep the ball on the deck and play football around them. In the second half, when we struggled to get out because when we were going long, they won every single header in the air because they're ginormous. So I thought first half we played very, very well. It genuinely could have been any score that we want. Having now seen the Hearts highlights of it, it is a Stonewall penalty on Cammy Devlin. Like, it's Cammy Devlin that kicks the ball the direction that it is. No, the Livy boy. The Livy boy doesn't touch the ball at all. From what it looks like from the Hearts highlights. What's happened now with VAR? Why are we not getting to see what VAR are looking at? Do we only see that if the decision's given? So VAR checked that for a penalty. They also checked for a handball. We never seen any of the stills or the reviews. Remember, not now in England, when they're reviewing something, they'll show you what they're looking at or whatever it is. Like, we didn't even get the highlights of that. Same with the check the challenge on Benny. They reviewed that VR. They never showed what they were looking at. They never showed the slowed down versions, the stills or anything. They just breezed past it.
That to me, that's another whole talking point, in my opinion, in regards to some of the aspects that are ongoing. There was a couple of times yesterday, free kicks that we should have got, we didn't get. There was times when we got a free kick, but it wasn't, the free kick wasn't taken from where the actual foul was. He moved us 5-10 yards back. There was a couple of really strange ones from that referee yesterday. I don't even know who it was, but yeah, I mean,
it was one of those things that, like, is it something that they don't do with VAR now? Do we only see what they're discussing if the decision's given or reversed or whatever it is? It was just, I would like to know or see what footage they looked at for the Cammy Devlin one, because from the Hearts one from behind the goal, it's pretty clear that it's a penalty.
I guess when you're saying that, you're meaning in regards to like a sports scene or whatever.
Just in anything, like they completely breezed past it, but the Stramash, they checked that handball for 2-3 minutes and then cleared it. They checked the Cammy Devlin penalty for 2 or 3 minutes and then cleared it, and they checked the Benny potential red card for 2 or 3 minutes and then cleared it. Normally, when you're watching the highlights or the shows or whatever, they will show you what VAR are looking at. They slow it down and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, is that stopped now? Is that no?
It would just be an editorial decision by the BBC to not show it, because they've only got a certain amount of time, I suppose, need to cram all the action into a 50-minute programme or whatever it is. But
yeah, I don't know if it's because they've decided that they stick with the on-field decision. If it's, if they stick with the on-field decision, then they don't show what was reviewed. But I didn't think it was a penalty at the game. I'm like face on, could see Cammy Devlin and thought, you dick, you've dived there. But then when I see the still things or the highlights today that Hearts post from behind, they're looking directly on it. Cammy Devlin wins the ball, the Livy player doesn't. So it looked like a slow-mo penalty. But anyway, neither here nor there. But I thought that, first half I thought Hearts were very, very good. Halkett, that spine of the team again, like Halkett, Findlay, Benny, Devlin, Shankland, like that's like everything that builds off that. I love Lawrence Shankland. Lawrence Shankland is, everything that's happened to Hearts this season, Lawrence Shankland is the best Hearts player this season. He's phenomenal. His hold-up play is brilliant. His passing is brilliant. His finishing is great.
His movement off the ball yesterday was great. And he was the only one that was moving off the ball.
But he does it all the time because he knows that Livingston will put one, like Huv McGowan on him or the other guy on him constant. So he just ran them. He just took them on a race round the pitch. And that's where I think that Kizzy and Braga, I feel that they've not been sussed out, but that having Chesnikov come in now will hopefully help add just another spark of that. Not all of the creativity has to come from Braga and Kizzy, because again, there was times yesterday as well where Braga's trying like back heels. He did it in the derby and that as well, just trying to be a wee bit too fancy, trying a bit too hard, and Kizzy constantly wanting to cut inside and do that running across the box, looking to get his shot away type thing. It's been no sussed out, but it does feel a bit like teams have found a way to nullify that threat. So it'll be good to get a wee bit of a rejuvenation, because they've done this peaks and troughs all season. You know, Shanklin gets 2 or 3 in a wee run, and then Braga gets 2 or 3 in a run, and then Kizzy gets a couple. So I'm hoping that Chesnikov can just take a bit of the burden off them and free them back up again to get a bit back to somewhat of their best.
And the strange thing about Kizzy is the fact that if you go back to that Celtic game, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, they wanted to show him inside, but there was also times he was going to the line. And okay, he was put in with his bad foot, but he was still getting in. You know, there was that chance right at the beginning of that game. He's beat Ralston. He's put the ball across, and Shanklin is really unlucky at the front post. Yeah. So he's got that in him. You just wonder why he's maybe not doing it. You know, you do that once, you then cut inside the next time. You know, it's trying to mix his game up. I think that would definitely help him, or definitely help the rest of the team as well. But you know, it's 3 points. We move on.
I still think the both of them are still impactful in the game, which is important. They still have their moments, and you also have like they occupy the minds of the people that they're playing against for the full 90, because they are capable of doing something crazy. They are capable of pulling something out of nowhere. So that's a big bonus. And again, I go back to why I always talk about having goals from midfield is important. Again, yesterday, Benny Devlin on the edge of the box, Livingston are happy for them to have the ball 20-25 yards out, because they know that they're not going to shoot. So they get to stay in shape. No one has to break ranks. No one has to... When you go at our worst in the second half, it was like Critchley ball, because it's side to side. The reason that you go side to side is that you want someone from Livingston to break, to come and push out so that you can slide it in between them or whatever. And when they stay in a low block, all you can do is go side to side and hope that there's an opening here or there. But when you have two of your own players that can receive the ball 20-25 yards out, and Livingston don't even have to move or press or shut you down because they know that you're just not going to shoot, then that's an element of the game where actually having a shot, we've talked about it before, it's why Neuenhoff was good in those positions, because Neuenhoff will shoot. He could score for 20-25 yards. Devlin had a volley yesterday that I think near enough cleared out the seagulls on the Gorgie roof. And Benny will do anything but shoot.
Do you think we ever see Neuenhoff again?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to be fancied for whatever reason. I know that he's carried injuries and he's had niggly injuries, but I believe he's fit and he has been fit for a while. We just haven't seen him. So second half again. Second half was just weird. It was weird.
It was as weird for us in our second half yesterday as it was in the Celtic Rangers game.
Yeah.
Not to the same extent, you know, because like it was proper Jekyll and Hyde in regards to that Celtic team in the first half to the second half. But to an extent, we were the same. That was how I felt as I was like walking away from the game on at 5 o'clock last night. That's how I felt about it. It was a little bit like, you know, Christ, that was exactly what I watched at 12:30, 1 o'clock.
See, I didn't I don't think Livingston caused us problems. I thought we've caused our own problems. We just kept giving them the ball back and giving them opportunities. They were looking for exactly all the chances have come from throw-ins or corners. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for those opportunities, and I thought that we were quite naive at points where we were giving them the opportunity for them, and we've been better at that all season long. We just felt a bit, I don't know. It's natural for the players to be nervous because I think Derek McInnes alluded to it about the fact that it felt very much like Kilmarnock. So the positive is that they've won, and now that'll give them huge confidence to be like, see, we can grind out the 1-0s, and Derek McInnes spoke about it that sometimes the 1-0s are the most beautiful results because the only thing that mattered yesterday was that Celtic and Rangers, when they turned on their teletext at 5 o'clock, was they seen that Hearts were 6 points clear. That's all that mattered. It didn't matter about anything else. They just needed to see that Hearts had won. And we managed that pressure very well.
It's like the, if you look at it in the golf course, in regards to it, there's no such thing as anybody goes back and looks at your scorecard if you've won the tournament. That's the way it looks at.
Yeah, and I think that was it. But that's what I thought we seen yesterday was just nerves, and we're going to have to get. That's what we go back to what we just talked about earlier is that we all have a role to play when it's like that. The players have got a role to play, but we've got a role to play as well. Like understanding that the team needs us. The team needs us in this moment because it could be the difference between. Again, you go back now, like look at where we sit right now. And I know it's all if your aunties had balls, etc., because we had the last goal at Livy, last minute goal at Livy, last minute goal v Hibs, last minute goal at Tannadice. But you do, even just Schwolow holds that shot v Kilmarnock, we are 8 points clear. Do you know what I mean? That even if it's just as simple as that, we're 8 points clear. If we'd actually showed up and been bothered to actually perform against Dundee United, we'd be 10 points clear. You know what I mean? Like these are the difference makers in the league, and it's about. I know Aberdeen fans will be listening. Fucking nothing to do with you. We're shite. That's why we sacked the manager. Yeah, you are shite, and that is why you sacked your manager. But looking at 5 o'clock every week on teletext or whatever the fuck they get up in Aberdeen, probably carrier pigeon. They
Carrier seagull.
Carrier seagulls. They see that Hearts have won again. It just adds to the tension. It adds to how annoyed they'll be with the whole situation because they'll be looking just like we did last year on their run. That should be us. That I want that to be us. Because again, if Hearts do win the title, forget every argument ever with any of those dafties, any Hibs fans that anybody. This kills it dead that we are the third best team in the country. We will be the best team in the country. It kills it. So getting the points was the most important thing. And that was why I was saying, Kev, about we should have been like booing and whistling and geeing the ref to blow for full time because of the significance of the 3 points. But instead, everybody shiting themselves. Yes, hot kettle, because I was looking at my fucking feet. I couldn't look up.
You missed the hand I was talking about earlier on, how his dad was, Bill was patting him on the back like he was actually like some sick kid hunched over the toilet throwing up. That was what he looked like yesterday.
Exactly. Like a wee jailbait school lassie that's went out and got fucked on the Blue Wicked and then come back holding her hair out of the bog is just spewing.
Like my dad was saying, stop being a dick. my dad's used to it. He's been like, stop being such a dick, man. Someone sent me a funny video that everybody absolutely bouncing, singing "We Shall Not Be Moved" with like 10 seconds left of the Rangers game, and I'm standing like that. I'm the only one facing straight forward. Can he look at what's happening? Everybody else about is bouncing, celebrating, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
It's your turkey, though.
It's embarrassing, but it's tradition now. I can't know do it. If I stop doing it and we lose, I'll hate myself.
How many jackets you won yesterday?
I lost the derby So I got to change up my jacket because I was fucking melting at Easter Road. Honestly, I thought once I was going to pass it, I had 2 jumpers on and a jacket. I was like, Jesus Christ. So luckily I'm just back to one
back on
jumper,
winning
one
ways.
jacket.
You're going to have to wear them all the way to the Scottish Cup final in May. Then.
I am going to be... Right. Well, to be fair, you've already got pictures of me at the Scottish Cup final with my big stupid jacket on.
Brilliant day.
So, no, I'm glad you all had a good time. I was absolutely spewing. Right. Well, we are obviously next up is Dundee. We do some predictions. Obviously, Dundee have decided to hit some form. They won 3 out of 3 as we go to Dens Park to play Stephen Presley's Dundee. We do predictions.
Go for it.
Right, let's go then, Kev. What's your prediction for Dundee versus Hearts?
I can see this being very similar to the game at Dens Park, I think 2 seasons ago, where we didn't start great, but we came back and won the game. Shankland effectively pulled everybody up from the death. So I'll be bold and I'll go. We'll sneak it 2-1.
Okay, Ando.
I take your point about Dundee going on a wee run, but who have they beaten? They've beaten Falkirk, Kilmarnock and Dundee United. Now, I know what you're going to say. The certain points of the season, we've failed to beat them. But they're getting us scudding. It's 3-0.
I like it. That would be fun. Danda can't play. He seems to have found some form for Dundee. But Simon Murray.
Why is it Sunday? Do you know?
No idea.
Sunday at 2 o'clock. I'd imagine it'll be on the telly.
Interesting if they picked that one.
Nah, I don't know.
I guess they've got to pick X amount of games for each club though, so it might be the fact that we are sitting top of the league.
It is. Let me just check. Yeah, it's on Sky Sports Main Event and Sky Sports UHD and Sky Sports Football. So there you go.
Wow.
3 channels all at the same time. And Kilma, I don't actually mind that because you're right. Scottish football has got a rule in its agreement where you have to show a certain amount of games from each. Oh, sorry, you can't go above a certain number of games from each venue. But if we're now starting to take share from the likes of Rangers or Celtic because people are paying attention, fucking get us on the telly.
I know that is actually they're all the wee nuanced things that people don't think about right now, but actually have a huge knock-on effect as to what happens if the centre of power in Scottish football does change. Because, for example, in the split, we could be at home to Motherwell, going to clinch the title, but Rangers could be away to St Mirren, and they'll pick Rangers v St Mirren because of the quota that they set up at the start of the year, because that's the way it works. They put Celtic on the telly when they're away from home, Rangers on the telly when they're away from home. So they'll be like, well, what do we do now when none of them are the champions? Do we have to follow Hearts everywhere? So again, we could be like the only champions in Scotland that still get to play at 3 o'clock every Saturday because they're got to watch 5th place Rangers play 8th place Aberdeen every other week. It'll be fun. It'll be fantastic. We'll get to our end. We'll get to like. Oh, go, Kev.
I'm just going to say there's 2 interesting points there. One, in regards to Sunday's game, Dundee have actually opened up parts of their stadium that haven't been opened for Christ 10 years or something like that to actually just coin in regards to
great. We're not going to die of black mould because it's not been fucking open. There you go. Wipe out the opposition through toxic.
The day open it, but only to the old firm, so I don't know if that makes it any cleaner or more
well, that was my point, is that is effectively the only time they do it. And the other bit in regards to the whole thing is, come the split, it's actually going to be quite interesting because the way in which fixtures have already happened for those teams that will be in the top 6, it could be an interesting element in that somebody may have to come to Tynecastle more than once or twice. They may actually have to come and play 3 times at Tynecastle.
Aye, because we have
But
to play
then-
everybody away for him.
Put the tinfoil hat on for a minute, right? Do you think, right, and I think we've spoken about this before, can you imagine whoever it is at the SFA having to put on that bit of paper that the Champions League entry for next year is Heart of Midlothian Football Club, right?
Stuff them.
The SFA do not fucking want us winning anything. Or neither do the SPFL, right? The
will be
supercomputer or whoever makes these decisions will make sure it's heavily stacked against us. Tinfoil hat
It will
on.
be. It will be weird though, because we'd be facing. If it was right now, we'd be at Celtic Park, Easter Road, Fir Park, in the Falkirk Stadium, with only Rangers coming to Tynecastle. So they'd be looking at saying that either they'd probably shaft Motherwell immediately, because it wouldn't upset. You can't ask Hibs to come 3 times, and folk would cry absolute blue murder if we made Celtic come to Tynecastle 3 times in a season, especially if it comes to a title race. So it'd probably be more than likely Motherwell will get shafted and have to come to Tynecastle and play us 3 times at Tynecastle, or maybe Falkirk, because it'll be a lesser evil. Because it looks like with everybody that's in the top 6 currently, we're due to play them away from home again.
Cool.
So
You're
right, my
assuming Celtic
prediction
will make the
is
top 6.
I'll say 1-1. I'll stick to my guns and say 1-1 is my prediction. Any comments, questions, anything coming in, Ando, that we want to cover before we sign off?
I have done a time. There's quite a bit there, to be honest. But like everybody does, when Tam doesn't pay attention to it, and they just chat amongst themselves. But
We'll flash a couple up. We'll read them out, because people
right,
have taken their time to speak to
here
us.
we go. Right, from what's clearly a bot, who's taking a selfie in a golf course. Tynecastle needs a new sound system. It sounds like a tin can. I just think the guy needs to speak into the microphone like a big boy. I think the sound system is fine. It's the guy with the mic that's the issue. But
Well, actually, in my Bible to Hearts today, I tell them that at Ibrox, for example, it's just muted background music until they have like a 10-minute before kickoff routine. That's when everything's turned up to 10. The tunes come on. That's when they start to build the atmosphere. Up until that point, any adverts or shout outs or information about the mascots and all that type of stuff just gets flashed up on the big screen. And if you want to read it, read it. If you didn't, we have the whole, what age are you? You're 17, and what's your favourite Hearts player? And what do you like to get from McDonald's? And Mr. Lawrence Shankland has scored. Who gives a fuck?
Wait a minute, with the interview in Tam there.
Yeah, that's what it's like. And then it's like, who guessed the season? Oh, it's a season that Hearts finished bottom 6 and we're fucking rubbish and everybody hated Hearts. Yay, I can't wait for this game. Oh, please show me fucking Barry Mackay scoring against fucking dog shit United in a game that didn't matter. I'm buzzing. Yay, come on, you Jambos.
where have you been, man? Where have you been? Right. Another one. But a good question. This has the club ever communicated to why they do not do pyro, tifos, etc. Also regarding the announcer, is he asked to toe the line and keep it vanilla? Probably.
We'll see.
I'll let you answer the pyro question.
Well, so pyro obviously is illegal, depending on what it is. But pyro in the sense like what Hibs had with the firework boxes, or the stuff that Aberdeen do, which is the safe smoke bombs and all that type of stuff. I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know what it is. I have spoken to Hearts at length numerous times about what it is. Again, if I was being honest, I think it's cost. They won't spend money on things like that. That's why, look around Tynecastle. The entrances to our stadium are bare brick. It costs £17 to buy some masonry paint and paint them maroon. We won't do it. We're not interested. That's why the inside of the main stand looks like a high school. The toilets are painted grey, bog standard grey. They could have murals in there. They could be painted maroon and white because it's the Hearts colours. I don't know what it is. They just are reluctant. I don't know if it's because of the age demographic of the people that run the club. I don't know. But I have floated the ideas numerous times about safe standing, about rope and pulley systems for displays, about like I said, welcoming the team bus to Tynecastle, welcoming the team bus to away games, about firework displays before the match, big flags, big hearts tops, whatever it is, tifos. I know a supplier that can do Tynecastle can do 18,000 bits of paper for $2,000 if we wanted to do a full stadium tifo. I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the resistance to it is now. I don't know if they stop talking to me because of my connection to the ultras and they feel that they've done their bit by creating an ultras section and it should be the ultras that self-fund and do everything. Because every display in tifo that has been done up until this point has been done by me or the fans or the ultras or whatever it is. The club paid for the Hampden tifos, the Hearts one, and then the one for Zal. The club paid for the Busby one, and then every other tifo that we've had inside Tynecastle has been self-paid for by the ultras, other than the Big Hearts display in which Hearts and the ultras paid. Big Hearts and the ultras paid for the display on the day. So I don't know what the reluctance or resistance to it is.
I think that could change then, given the fact there's been a change at boardroom level.
I don't know.
You hope so, eh?
Well, I told you before.
See what happens.
Well, I've told you before. I went to a Big Hearts celebration end of season thing where they basically did a bit with the thank all their donators, etc. And Andrew McKinley and all that was there, spoke brilliantly. And Anne Park was there. And Anne Park was the one that we spoke to who said that, if the ultras had more ladies in it, then they'd be a much more sponsorable proposition. To which I asked, okay, there's 175 ultras, 25 of them are ladies. That ratio, how does that translate to what the rest of the stadium translate to men to ladies? If 25 out of 175, which is what, a fifth, if my math is right? I don't know, it's fucking 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, I don't know if that's right.
It's 14%.
So, right, so are we saying that, is that the same? Is it more? Are there more than 14% of the match day attendance would be ladies at Tynecastle, do we reckon? More or less. I was like, so your math, does that mean that Hearts are only sponsorable because of the ratio? And also, what ladies do you know that want to be ultras? Like, in the nicest way possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, who wants, it's a certain thing, it's a demographic, it's where you want it to be. It's not that you can't join if you're a lady, that's not what it is. So again, they were like, they heard ultra, we had to convince them what it wasn't some right wing fanatical Italian mob type thing. And it's just like, you try to explain that situation to your gran. They're never going to get it in the nicest way possible. So,
well, we could let's see what this number actually works out as. We could maybe move it up from 14.2% to 14.9% by getting TAM involved.
TAM. But to be fair, and a credit to Hearts, the people that we do deal with Hearts that can help and influence and make decisions, we do have an ultras section, and we have had feasibility studies around safe standing. Like, for example, in the summer, the guys from Brighton came to Tynecastle and showed the options for what it was, for how rail seating would work, etc. So it's not a complete closed shop. There are people at the club that do a genuine class job at trying to help and make things better, but it's a business, so it's stuff that takes priority. Where is their priority? Where do they see the funding? Do they want funding to go to certain bits, etc., etc.? So again, it's and I keep going back to what I said before. Don't just focus on it and being like that it's just an ultras thing. It's no just about ultras, right? Because people didn't want to be an ultra or whatever it is. But if we had a singing stand, I've said it 1,000 times before, imagine that the Gorgie was a full stand of safe standing. Our cop, our stand behind the goal, our away end at home, filled with all the guys that will be at Dens Park on Sunday. Standing, flags, songs, tifos, safe pyro, all that stuff. That make a huge difference to Tynecastle. And yes, Hearts will have to upset a few people by saying, you've sit in the Gorgie for 15 years, for 20 years, for 30 years. Great. We appreciate it. But actually, the bigger cause now is actually we want this stand to mean something. We want it to be this. So if you don't want to sit here, we're going to give you the opportunity to move to somewhere else. So that's why I've always go back to the idea is we should sit down as a club with the fans, talk to loads of different fans, and reclassify the stands. Where do the families sit and make it a family purpose area that's catered for families, so it's a nice match day experience for them? Where do the people that want to sit with suits and have sticky toffee pudding and have hospitality, where do they sit and in the stadium, and where do they go? And where do all your Joe publics that just want to watch the game, where do they sit? So you've got your nutcases in a stand, your families in a stand, your suits in a stand, and everybody else that just wants to watch the game. They know where to go. So everybody knows what part they play. Because right now, I can guarantee you watch it. Section N, the top 25% of N stands, the rest sit. Same in G. So you've got that first 15 or that top 15, 20 rows that want to sing, stand, chant, and then everybody else wants to sit and watch the game. We can converge all of them together and put them in one space. I guarantee you it would make the match day experience at Tynecastle better.
This is very much like common sense. Whoa.
I know, but and I get it. There's a cost. It's a business. I understand that. Hospitality makes like 45 grand a year or something like that, or whatever it is. That's big money for Hearts. But you lose 45 grand a year, but it gets you 6, 7, 9, 12 extra points a season that get you Champions League football, that get you into the Champions League qualifiers, because that part of the stand in the stadium sucks the team in. And the team look at that and go, oh, that's like Borussia Dortmund's yellow wall, or that's like the Kop at Anfield. It becomes a spiritual thing. That becomes, we're shooting towards that stand. It becomes a symbol of what Hearts are all about. That is worth more to the club than 45 grand a season, sticky toffee pudding, and listening to the same shite jokes on repeat for the stadium announcer for 15 years ago. Like, you just got to try and make stuff better. We can't. It's like this, waiting for Celtic and Rangers to catch us. It's waiting for someone else to do it. Just do the same thing on repeat because it worked before. You have to do something different. Anyway,
one
supposed to be got my bed. You've got me all fucking riled up.
One final question, and I'm disappointed I don't know the answer to this in advance, because if you did, it's news to me because I worked here. But does Corbett still work for Safeway?
Never worked for Safeway in my whole time.
I was going to say, like, I don't think you ever have. Like, I definitely worked there, but Stefan Barr, the answer's no. Corbett,
I've stolen for Safeway, if that makes you feel any better. Used to steal chicken pie-angs or whatever, and my pals have worked in Safeway. My pal's dad was like the butcher, the face of the butcher, wee Marty Forburn. He was the Safeway butcher for ages, but I have never worked for Safeway. Just
checking. I was going to say, I'm disappointed if I found out that you worked there. But
what a way to end.
What a way to end. Right, trips. We will. I'm going to Dundee, so by the time we're home or whatever normal time, we can podcast on Sunday night. But I hope you all had a good new year. Let's look forward to what could be an unbelievable 2026. Right, boys. I'll see you soon.
All the best.
In a bit.
Corgaroos.